Okay, good morning, everyone. I believe it is 11 o'clock. My name's Sam, and I'll be helping with the tech today. I am a white femme presenting person. I have big square champagne glasses, and I have orange red hair, and I'm wearing a brown sweater. And I'll pass it over to Zachary, who will be emceeing today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. And thank you to everyone for joining us. Before we get going here, just going to go over a bit of a housekeeping item regarding accessibility features. Make sure everybody can hear and see and all that good stuff. So you should be able to see that we have live captions. If not, you can turn that on and off by clicking the CC or live transcript button on the far right of your Zoom controls. You can also right click and open the full transcript. Thank you to Joanne for providing these. We also have our lovely ASL interpreter Valerie, who will be working hard throughout the event to ensure you can see her throughout the event. Change your view in the top right corner to side-by-side speaker view. Of course, if you have any other technical or accessibility issues, please send a message to the panelists or raise your hand and we will work it out with you. My name is Zachary Weeks, and I have the great pleasure of being the chair of today's event. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a 33-year-old white male presenting person with dirty blonde, brown hair, and rectangular glasses. I'm sitting in a power wheelchair and wearing a white shirt that says "That Disability Guy" on the chest and have a blank white wall behind me. So good morning again, and thank you for joining us for International Day for Persons with Disabilities 2021. We hope you all get the opportunity to check out some of the other incredible events that are happening across the province and world today. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, just a bit of history that I'm going to go over. We have celebrated IDPD numerous years. Prior to this, I think all the way back to the 90s. And obviously, because of COVID and the pandemic, we have transitioned to a virtual setup for the past 2 years. This year's theme is competitive sport and the road to the podium, aka the Paralympics. And we have some really great superior athletes and special guests joining us here today. So that's a quick brief welcome. I'm going to pass it on to our new counselor, Karen Tang, to do a land acknowledgement and just the land acknowledgement today and bring greetings from council.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here. My name is Karen Tang, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a Chinese Canadian woman. I am currently sitting in my office and I'm wearing a floral print top, and in my back, it's a cluttered office. I don't know how else to describe that. And I have medium brown hair. So first, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional land on which we reside is in Treaty 6 territory. I am very grateful for the diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory for centuries, such as Nehel, Dene, Anishinaabe, Nakota Iska, and Niitsitapi peoples. We also want to acknowledge that this as the Métis homeland and the home of one of the largest communities of Inuit south of the 60th parallel. It is a welcoming place for all peoples who come from around the world to share Edmonton as a home. And together, we call upon all of our collective honored traditions and spirits to work in building a great city for today and future generations. And as a former teacher, I've seen firsthand the importance of inclusion and accessibility. When my students of all abilities had the tools and access they needed, they thrived. And as a community organizer and a neighbor, I'm seeing and hearing firsthand the importance of accessibility for our city in infrastructure and services. And top of mind right now are the lived experiences of community members right after our very first major storm. And accessibility in all its facets is fundamental to a person's quality of life, well-being, and sense of belonging. And when all people are able to fully participate in society, Edmonton is a better place. And on this day, we are all reminded of our responsibility to better understand accessibility and disabilities and promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities in our communities. And one of my goals as a city councilor is to help and facilitate Edmontonians' voices being heard. And I am honored to be appointed by City Council to join the Accessibility Advisory Committee to walk alongside and learn with this community. And I will encourage the community to keep using your voices and keep rising up for what you believe in. And I can work with my council colleagues to uplift the voices of all Edmontonians so that we can continue to create a vibrant and inclusive city together. Because we need everyone, every member of the team contributing to a vibrant and inclusive city. It's why the city has a corporate accessibility policy which guides city projects and facilities to account for individuals' diverse needs and abilities. And it's why the DATS paratransit system, which is now renamed as of today, to coincide with this day, as dedicated accessible transit service using more inclusive language. And it's currently providing opportunities for more than 10,000 community members to participate in daily life and engage more fully with the broader community. And although we have made a lot of progress, we know that we still have much more work to do. And every Edmontonian will play an important role in that work. So I look forward to working together to keep building the city that works for everyone. Thank you for having me here and for your great contribution to making our city great. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Councillor Tang, and we'll pass it over for a greeting from the mayor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amarjeet Sohi. I'm the mayor of Edmonton, and I'm pleased to be joining you to recognize a very important day, the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. If you're joining me, then it's likely that you already know what it's like to live with a disability, visible or invisible, or have a connection with someone who lives with a disability. For me, healthy communities are diverse and inclusive communities that create opportunities for everyone. How we take care of our people is the foundation for a safe, strong, and resilient city. I would like to share a little bit about my own experience. I arrived in Edmonton 40 years ago. I relied a lot on services that were available to me in our community. I gathered hope and courage from citizens like you who were working to change things, and I joined with them in whatever ways I could contribute. Then, when I was able, I ran for public office because I believe that people like me, people like you, everyone deserves to be represented and have a voice in our democratic processes. This is how we reduce the number of challenges and barriers that people face in our city. Today is International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Today, we celebrate the diversity of our community. Please join me as we call ourselves to take action to build an inclusive and barrier-free Edmonton for all of us. Hello everyone, I am honored to read this proclamation on the Day of Persons with Disabilities. Whereas each year we recognize the International Day of Persons with Disabilities to increase awareness of diverse abilities and promote inclusion for all Edmontonians. Whereas today Edmonton is home to more than 240,000 people who live with a disability. And whereas social, economic, and physical barriers, along with discriminatory attitudes, can limit the opportunities of people with disabilities. And whereas the City of Edmonton is committed to promoting the rights of persons with disabilities and recognizes the important role they play in our community. Therefore, I, Mayor Amarjeet Sohi, do hereby proclaim December 3rd, 2021, Day of Persons with Disabilities in Edmonton, Alberta's capital. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the video greetings, Mayor Sohi. I'm going to pass it on to another distinguished guest here at the event, Alara from the Accessibility Advisory Committee, who we're absolutely thrilled to have.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you today. It's my first time coming to this event, so I'm very excited for what's about to unfold. My name is Alara Stephanie Cadet, and my pronouns are they and them. I am a non-binary, white, androgynous presenting person wearing a brown hat and red bulky headphones, and I have black, big, thick rimmed glasses, and I'm also wearing a blue zip-up hoodie. And I have a plain yellow background behind me. I have the great honor and privilege of introducing Edmonton's Accessibility Advisory Committee presentation before we move into it. The AAC is a group of dedicated folks working in partnership with City Council to remove barriers, create connections, and strive towards equity and inclusion in our city. Our mission is a commitment to purposeful leadership to design a city that works for everyone. We encourage the collective efforts of the City of Edmonton, stakeholders, community members, and ourselves to make accessibility an integral part of the city building process. We challenge the status quo and those who would defend it and champion accessibility of all kinds as we create a more equitable Edmonton. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you today. I really hope you enjoy our presentation.
Oops.
Our city is enriched by the contributions of persons with disabilities. Our community is strengthened when everyone is included. AAC serves as a collaborative voice for Edmontonians experiencing disabilities. We review programs, services, policies, and plans for city facilities to identify issues or barriers for people with disabilities. We then collaborate with the city to overcome those barriers. We also consult with citizens to get their perspectives and feedback. The AAC is driven by volunteers with various experiences supporting, employing, and advocating on behalf of people with disabilities. We provide advice to the City of Edmonton on how to provide services that are inclusive and accessible to all Edmontonians, such as transit, housing, employment, and public spaces. Some of our more notable projects that we consulted on include the Civic Tower, the Downtown Arena, Rogers Place, and the E-Park pay machines. We are proud to help ensure that these world-class facilities and the rest of Edmonton are inclusive for everyone. We also host, participate in, and support community events that raise awareness. We use these events to promote accessibility and to make sure that the needs of people with disabilities are being considered. For more information on how to get involved, visit the AAC's page on the City of Edmonton's website or on Facebook.
So thank you again for bringing that welcome from the AAC, Alara, and telling us a little bit about our duty as a committee. I have the pleasure to sit alongside Alara on this very important work that they're doing, and look forward to the future and accomplishing even more. With that, I will pass it along to our friends from the Premier's Council to shed a little bit of light on this year's award recipients.
Okay, thank you very much. I presume I can start. I'm Garth Rosewell, the MLA, and I'll get into that in my speech a little bit. But I'm a male and a suit without a tie, and I wear rectangular glasses, and I got graying hair, so it's an indication of my age. So good day, everyone. Please join us in thanking the organizing committee for arranging this wonderful event today. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to celebrate International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Since 1992, United Nations International Day of Persons with Disabilities has been observed annually on December 3rd, all around the world. The UN theme this year is leadership and participation of persons with disabilities toward an inclusive and accessible, sustainable post-COVID-19 world. For those of you who don't know me, like I said before, I'm the MLA for Vermilion Lloydminster Wainwright, Garth Rosewell, and my colleague with me here is Heath Burkholz. We are both members of the Premier Council of Status Persons with Disabilities. The Premier's Council is an advisory body for the Government of Alberta. It is responsible for providing advice to the government regarding opportunities for full and equal participation of persons with disabilities in the life of the province. We are honored to work with the dedicated members of the Council who make this work a priority. We share their passion for creating an Alberta where all people are included and equal, which is why we're thrilled that today we have the privilege of presenting 2 Premier's Council's awards. I'll turn it over to Heath.
Hello, everyone, and thank you. Just to give myself a description, I am white. I wear thick black rimmed glasses. I am bald, and I am wearing a sport jacket which has a mixture of silver and black. I am wearing a tie, but you probably won't be able to see it. It's too dark. So the importance of inclusion and accessibility cannot be overstated. That's why many of you work every day to empower Albertans with disabilities, not just on the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. To celebrate and recognize this passion for making a difference, the Premier's Council presents annual awards in up to 6 categories to individuals and organizations that have greatly contributed to the inclusion of people with disabilities in Alberta over the last year. Today, we have the honor of presenting two Premier's Council Awards. The first award of excellence in public awareness. This award is presented to an individual, team, or organization that has increased the public awareness of the benefits and the value of barriers-free, inclusive communities. The recipient of this year's award is being recognized in the following areas: fulfilling a lifelong passion of helping others in his work with the Cerebral Palsy Association of Alberta, developing and delivering disability awareness presentations to the community, and delivering digital skills programs for adults with disabilities, as well as living a life without limits and demonstrating his personal value of being independent and foregoing his own path. We would like to congratulate Mr. Carlos Gonzalez Deschamps on receiving this award.
Okay, thank you. The next award is an award of excellence in the area of community. This award is presented to an individual, team, or organization that has made a significant contribution to a barrier-free, inclusive community in Alberta. The recipient of this year's award is being recognized in the following areas: serving her community through participation in the Lunchbox program in Whitecourt, delivering meals to many students in our community, and assisting with the cooking club and the recycling program. We would like to congratulate Ms. Lori Spurlock on receiving the award. Members of the Premier's Councils are presenting other awards at events in their local communities on and around December 3rd. Information on all award winners can be found on the Premier's Council's website.
All right. So thank you so much for bringing those welcomes, and congratulations to both Carlos and Lori on their awards. Totally deserved. And yeah, thank you so much for all you do on behalf of people with disabilities. So now we're going to transition into a bit more fun, I guess you could say, where we get to chat with some of the elite in terms of disabled athletes and what it took for them to get to where they are and where they plan to go. I have the great pleasure of interviewing some of them today, and we'll kick off with Carrie Anton, who's a Paralympic gold medalist from the Sydney 2000 Summer Games. She's also a passionate advocate for persons with disabilities. Carrie is involved in our community on a variety of boards and committees, including the Edmonton Sport Council, CNIB, and the chair of the Accessible Standards Canada Technical Committee for the Built Environment. She's also a researcher, presenter, coach, and is active in many sports in her retirement, like blind ice hockey, curling, hiking, and tandem cycling. Carrie works to ensure equitable experiences in sport, work, school, and technology for everyone. So I'm going to hand it over to Carrie, and she's going to take it away from here. Oh, Carrie, I think you're...
Yep. There we go. Thank you, Zachary.
Sure.
Can No worries. Can everybody view my screen in the Zoom window? This first slide is a picture of the Paralympic gold medal from the Sydney Paralympic Games. And I want to thank you for having me here today. And can you guys see that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, let's get going with some of that excitement that Zachary had mentioned. Hopefully I deliver for you. My name is Carrie Anton, and right now I have a background on my Zoom screen of a Christmassy stage, all cartoony and glittery. I'm in it's not plaid, it's the other one. It's a black and red shirt, and I have copper and blonde short hair, and some pretty cheap glasses that help me view the computer screen better. And I identify with she, her pronouns. And I'm so happy to be here with you today to celebrate IDPD and the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. I myself am legally blind, and that means that I see 2200 or worse. But we all have to kind of start somewhere. And I'm just going to share some slides with you to help more so prompt myself through this quick presentation. So I was born a long time ago. I'm 50 something. This is the pictures of my family. I'm the cross-eyed baby on my mother's lap there. And later on in life, I had my brother who came along about 3 years later. I had a fairly, what I think would be a normal life, in the fact that I had a lot of experiences and a lot of interests, and things were throughout education and activity. I was very grateful, and I'm very happy for that. The one thing that did occur quite early in life was that it was known that I was going to be legally blind and have visual problems because I was 3 months premature. And when I was in the incubator, I had too much oxygen, and that affected my eyes, created cataracts. And so I have not seen well at all since birth. I remember getting my first pair of glasses, and then I was able to see my shadow, and I was always scared of my shadow. I thought someone was following me. So it just gives you an idea of how poor my vision actually is. You might relate to this eye chart with the big E on it. Well, that's 2200. So I'm not even able to see that E on the chart. I can barely tell that there is something on the wall because I'm at 2400 or 2800, depending on the eye. But to put that in more functional terms for you, I find it difficult to see if a car is coming. Everything's kind of blurry, not quite big enough for me to see. Is it a car? Is it a truck? Is it a bus? I also don't find entrances well. And I also cannot recognize people when they're coming towards me, whether it was classmates in school or an airport, where to go. So, it's a very foggy experience, and I've learned to advocate for myself and really ask questions and be inquisitive as to where I am, where I need to be, and how do I get there. Growing up, I had some really great experiences, as I mentioned. My family allowed me to participate in activities, allowed me to fall, allowed me to drive things with their supervision, gain those same experiences that my brother gained. My brother does not have a disability, but my parents let me explore and experience, and I'm very grateful for that. I rode horses, I've driven an Argo. There's a picture here that my family with 2 babies on skidoos. And so from a very early age, my family really assisted me to have experiences in life and value those. When I moved into school and started to learn physical activities, again, great teachers, great parental support. I learned the activities. So there's so many things that I was able to participate in, like physical education class. I learned the skills of hitting a badminton, or what it feels like when the birdie hits the badminton. I learned to dribble a ball for basketball. I learned to catch a ball in baseball, hit it with a bat. The challenge came for me in sport was that when I needed to compete, of course, I wasn't able to see the ball coming. I wasn't able to slap the puck or the ring and ringette. I can skate, I can swim, I can jump, I can run, I can do many activities, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to have been taught those by some very smart and creative individuals. But when it came to the end of the day, as I got older and sport became more out of reach in terms of competition, I didn't have an outlet. I would get hit in the head with the basketball. I would get hit with the baseball because I wouldn't be able to see it coming. And so I needed to transition and participate in sport, which I love so much, in different ways. And I became the manager of the baseball team. I became the co-organizer of a Western Canadian basketball tournament. So I was still around sports, still involved and engaged in sport, but I wasn't playing it necessarily. And then a friend of mine came to me. Actually, he was a career counselor, and he was totally blind. And he was the only person that I knew with a disability. And he told me, Carrie, you should come out to this gym night. There's a lot of us adults, and we hang out, play with this ball and have some fun, and maybe we'll go for drinks or food afterwards. Well, I thought this was great, getting social, doing things with people, but I didn't know what I was in for. And my friend Shan exposed me to a sport of goal ball. I was 19 years old. I was in my first year of university. And goal ball is a sport where you're in the ready position, waiting for this ball the size of a basketball that has bells inside it. You're waiting for the other team to throw it at you. You dive on the floor, blocking the ball with your body, and you get up and throw it back at them. And the hitch is that everyone's blindfolded, so nobody has a sighted advantage. Everybody gets to not see what's going on. And there's tape on the floor that is tactile, so you can feel your zone and where you're supposed to play and where you're supposed to be for safety reasons and also for accuracy. So there's 3 pictures on the screen here. One is one of my Canadian teammates and I in the ready position. The middle picture is me throwing the ball. So it's really, you get up and you just throw this thing as hard as you can. And I'm at my peak was probably throwing it about 35 miles an hour. And then the third picture is a picture of us just diving on the floor, trying to intersect this ball. And it's happened so quickly, it's less than a second reaction time. So as I developed in this sport, I was asked to join Team Saskatchewan. I was living in Regina at that time. And I was good because I had those physical literacy skills throughout my childhood. I learned how to throw, jump, run, lunge. So those concepts were not new to me. So I was seen as kind of this amazing blind person because I had the physical literacy skills. And to this day, I still think it's really important to teach people the skills, whether they get to the competitive end or not. And as it went on, a couple years later, I was asked to try out for the national team. And that was amazing, to try out for Team Canada. That means you're one of the best people in the country that has been identified. And they have a pool of usually 12 people that they try to pick the top 6 from. Well, it took me 7 years to actually get picked for Team Canada. And that happened in 1997. And that was a fantastic journey. I was training twice a day. I was hitting the gym floor with volunteers. I was doing weight training, cardio training, anything I could to become better at the sport and better physically, stronger. And so once I was selected in 1997 for Team Canada, that was when it was this rocket ship to travel into other great competitions and even more training and better sports science, nutrition, better knowledge and information. At that time, there was no funding for goalball, so it was all self-funded. So I was going to university, I was working, and I was training. It was a very busy life. In 1998, the team was pretty new. We went to a World Championships in Madrid, and it was like 6 egos walking into a room. We were all kind of new. We didn't know each other. 3 of the team spoke just French, 3 of the team spoke just English. It was really kind of a mess when you think of what a concept of a team was. And it showed. We were last. We didn't do very well at that World Championships. We knew something had to change. So we spent the next year getting to know each other, learning the language of English and French, communicating in ways that were meaningful for each other. And we went to the last chance tournament, they call it. It's your last chance to get a spot to go to the Paralympic Games. And it was in Helsinki, Finland. And we were there with teams from Europe, like the Netherlands, Sweden, Germany, all of these top end teams. And we did what they call, we won every important game. So we lost games, we tied games, but we won the games that put us in the winner's circle for that. And winning that tournament helped us to actually get that last spot to go to the Sydney Paralympic Games in the next year. Now, I don't know if that was the best win of our lives or if the Paralympic Games was, but it was a fantastic time because we became like sisters. We really worked hard to be a team of cohesive people. And that's really difficult for people to do in team sport, especially when you're geographically dispersed like we were, and also had the language barrier. So I'm very proud of that effort that the team did. Then we get to Sydney in the year 2000. What a year. We were the underdog. We were the team that no one saw coming. We tied or won almost every game through the round robin competition. And we got to the gold medal game and the media was just exploding. They said, who is Canada? Where are they coming from? Who are these people? And we ended up winning the game. And you could hear a pin drop because you can imagine with a ball that jingles, the athletes have to hear it, but also the crowd had to be quiet. So a stadium like Rogers Place had to be quiet until there was a goal. So a pin could drop and you could hear the ball rolling back and forth. And when we won, the stadium erupted, and it still gives me shivers today. And the world erupted because Canada came from nowhere and we climbed our way to the podium, being the best team in the world. And in these pictures, you'll see this is our celebration. We just finished blocking the last block of the ball. My whole team, 6 athletes, 2 coaches, ran onto the court. There's the 6 of us on the podium. That was probably one of the longest 20 minutes of my life because O Canada is only like a minute or so, and they still let us stand there and stay there, and the crowd was still cheering for that whole time. It's fantastic. And of course, me with my flowers and medal with all from Australia, from the community, from the country, from plants and medal. The medal and the material was all right from Australia. Fantastic time. I've been to Paralympic Games since then, and I've tried to contribute as much as I can to the Paralympic movement and making sure that everyone has an equitable experience. So I went to the 2004 Paralympic Games to watch my team win their 2nd gold medal. And I say that because I was standing in the public area in the stands. I was actually dropped from the team 3 months before, which was another lesson in working with people and working with coaches and teams. So I stood in the stands and everybody was telling me to go get dressed. I have to go play. And I was like, no, not playing this one. But a fantastic experience, and knowing that the community still supported me and still enjoyed my presence, and I enjoyed all their presence. So went to Athens, saw my team get another gold medal. I also went to the 2010 Paralympic Games in Vancouver. I helped a friend with social media, built a website, tried to gain sponsors. I went to the 2012 Paralympic Games in London. I was a TV reporter hosting a show that was a highlight reel for every day of the Paralympic Games in 2012. And I also did some CBC radio work there too. And probably the latest thing that I'm very proud of, and it's more so proud of the athletes that I coached and I introduced to the sport. Just like my blind friend introduced me, I introduced these two athletes to goalball. They're from the Edmonton area. Blair Nesbitt went to his first Paralympic Games with Team Canada on the men's team in goalball in 2016 in the Rio de Janeiro Games. And Brianne Baldock just went to Tokyo 2020 with the Canadian women's goalball team. So I'm very proud of those guys, and we still have a place in each other's hearts today. I had to learn to reinvent myself and still try to be active, still try to be who I was. So I discovered new things that I enjoyed. My friends, my family helped me to find activities and disassociate from being in a place of a competitor, but not competing. So I've really enjoyed the sport activities that I have done, including golf, blind ice hockey, strength training, whitewater rafting, zip lining. As Zachary mentioned, there's lots of things that I like to do, and I don't have to be good at them. That's another thing that I discovered. I just can give it a try. Goalball is still my sport. It's still the best sport it's still the best sport that I can play the best, I guess, is the best. But I will try any sport at least once. One thing that I think is really important, and I hope that everyone takes away from this and also believes this in their heart, is you need to surround yourself with people who do support your health and your goals, whether that's your home, your work, your school, your pets, your plants, whatever it might be, the books you read, the movies you watch. This is some pictures of my dog that really gives me such joy in my heart and is my stress reliever. My fantastic TV crew from London, friends leaning on each other's got your back kind of thing, as well as my parents. My dad passed in 2010, but my mom is still around. And it's really about the flock that you keep. Who's the company that you keep that supports you? And that's really key. For me personally, I'm not shooting for the podium now, but I sure did for a good 15 years of my life. And I wouldn't take back a moment of it because every piece had a learning experience. And what I want to continue to do is contribute and connect people with equitable experiences in sport. And whether that's on a dragon boating team and helping them to go to world championships, or helping someone in their organization learn to do team building activity. There's one picture here, I call it's the Coach Carey picture. And then there's another picture of a dragon boating team that we helped go to their world championships. And the last picture here is a group of just people at a staff retreat, and they're actually taking a bucket of water. They're all blindfolded. They're taking a bucket of water and they're passing it over their heads down a hill without getting wet. So you have to imagine, how would someone do that team activity? Well, it's a fantastic discovery of how a team works together. So I want to thank you for having me here with you today, and really let's celebrate the day. This is our day, and congratulations to all the award winners. And I will transfer it back to Zachary. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Oh, what a great way to kick things off, and a bunch of life lessons in the middle of it all as well. So thank you so much, Carrie, for kicking things off and setting us on the track to the podium, I guess. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Leslie Tansey to introduce herself. And we're going to get into a bit of a Q&A with some of these amazing athletes and see how we can forward disability sport and hopefully continue winning medals. Not that I'm competitive, but let's get at it, shall we?
Not sure if I'm on or not. I guess I am.
Yeah.
Anyways, my name is Leslie Tansey. Good morning and welcome, everyone. I'm a 62-year-old white retiree with red hair. Okay, there's a bit of gray in there. I'm about 5'2" and a little on the chunky side. I wear glasses, have freckles, and I'm wearing a black and white sweater. I'm sitting at my kitchen table with a China hut behind me. And I would like to introduce Sierra Roth. So Sierra, she's a kinesiology graduate from the University of Alberta, who also has her personal training certification with the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology. Her passion for movement has continuously been explored throughout her life. Growing up, she played soccer, participated in cross-country running, competed in track and field, played volleyball, and raced motocross competitively. After sustaining a spinal cord injury at the T6 level during a motocross race at 16 years old, she was forced to rediscover her love for movement. While attending university, she began participating in wheelchair track and has recently transitioned to para-rowing in the next gen space with Rowing Canada. Her most recent achievement was being the first woman to compete in the first adaptive mountain bike series in British Columbia this past summer. Welcome, Sierra, and you are on, my dear.
Hello, thank you for that, Leslie. I am Sierra Roth, and thank you all for joining me on this special day. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a 24-year-old white femme presenting person with medium dirty blonde hair. I am wearing a white t-shirt with a red maple leaf on it with the rowing oars in the middle, and I'm sitting in my room with some bookshelves behind me. And I was recently told by a peer and colleague that today should be a party for how far we have come, and so thank you for including me on your celebrations. I am currently in Victoria, BC, home of the traditional territories of the Algonquin, Lasonic-speaking peoples, and Coast Salish people. I'm lucky to be able to explore, play, and work on this land that these people hold rightful stewardship over, and recognize that this land holds rich history, culture, and language that influence this community and myself every day. So to get started, unlike the rest of the extraordinary people on this call with unreal accomplishments, I'm here to talk more about my journey within sport and how I have approached it differently than some, in hopes it might spark something for others struggling to get physically active into their day. So I am currently a next-gen para-rower with Rowing Canada out here on the island. And if we go to the next slide, you can see me rowing on Elk Lake on my boat during sunrise as a PR1 athlete, which means I only row with my arms and shoulders, and I'm strapped in at the legs and at the chest. So I grew up in Southern Alberta first, and eventually found myself into Edmonton. I was always a super active girl involved in lots of running, soccer, and most importantly, motocross. So if we go to the next slide, these two photos were taken when I was 16 years old. The photo on the left is of me racing a cross-country race, looking mighty miserable. And the photo on the right is of me competing in motocross, just taking a corner. At the age of 16, I was competing in Brooks, Alberta with the boys at a local motocross race before I headed off to Western Canadian Women Nationals in BC. During this race, I sustained a spinal cord injury at the T6 level, resulting in complete paralysis. At the time, I was growing up in a small town of Tofield, Alberta, where there was no sporting opportunities for people with disabilities, and instead of gym class, I was attending physio, which in this next photo, you can see where I'm on my hands and knees. So now that I look back on this and reflect on all my work and training, this is exactly why I ended up where I did. So how did I get to where I am today? Well, a couple shout outs on this next slide to a few organizations, including the Paralympic Sports Association and the Studward Center, where I'm also actually currently working out of. They provided many opportunities for me to try different sports and physical activity options and allowed me to immerse myself into what adapted physical activity and sport really is. Here, you can see me trying cross-country skiing, downhill skiing in the mountains, and kayaking on a lake, all with blue skies, mountains in the background. At the time, I was also attending the University of Alberta, completing my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, where I slowly started to have a greater appreciation for movement and the importance of it in my everyday life. So when I was in Tofield, only attending physio and continuously being recruited to high performance teams to participate in sport, I lost touch with why I love to move. I was only moving because I had to and because everyone kept telling me that if I found a sport, I could go to the Paralympics. My frustrations can be seen in this next photo where I'm laying on the ground trying to work on my core function that doesn't exist. It wasn't until university where I slowly started to reflect on this narrative and found the importance of building my why for movement. It definitely helped that some of my classes involved lifting heavy weights, as you can see in this next photo here where I have a barbell overhead. I was also learning a lot about sports psychology, something I wish I would have learned at an earlier age or in the hospital. The importance of building up mental strength to take on everyday life with a disability and finding the energy to just get movement in on top of that. What dawned on me was how much movement improved my energy, my mood, my overall stamina to just get through the day, and all I had to do was start. You can see me pushing my wheelchair on this next slide on a hiking trail here in the forest. So important things to think about is build your why for movement. Notice the positive impact it has on your life and just start. So that was when I started getting involved in the Studward, first as a participant in the track and field program where I was wheelchair racing. The photo on the right has me practicing outside in my sports chair. My coach at the time, Tim Knovel, pictured on the left with my teammate and I, was truly the first positive experience I had with parasport, and he really ensured I had autonomy every day of my training. He saw the potential I had as an athlete, but knew that throwing me into the deep end of high performance wasn't going to be how I achieved any goals. So we went at it with the focus on improving the athlete just in me. When I started having shoulder issues, I realized that the wheelchair just wasn't going to be for me, and I was actually really deterred from sport again. Not knowing if my body would be able to handle training loads that were expected of me. So I put all of my energy into my career goals, went to Australia, which is what you see here, a photo of me on the beach with my dad on the right, and a photo of the courtyards at the University of Queensland on the left. I then finished my degree here and then landed some really important work with the Studward Centre and Active Living Alliance for Canadians with a Disability as the youth coordinator. During that time, Rowing Canada had reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in rowing, and the athlete in me knew that I couldn't pass up another opportunity to try a new sport, so I hopped in a boat and fell in love with it. The runner's high, the fresh air every morning, and the positive support system behind me was pretty hard to beat. I was getting stronger in the gym and knew that if I really wanted to pursue rowing full-time, I had to put everything I had into it, and that is why you can now find me on the island, which is pictured here, with me in my boat during a rainy training session, rowing 6 days a week with an amazing team of coaches, support staff, and teammates. It hasn't been easy though, and oftentimes we see all of the triumphs of our Paralympic athletes, and we don't see all the struggles and hurdles they had to overcome to get where they are today. I have recently been reflecting in on my own sport, frustrated with some aspects of our sports system in Canada, and continuously reminding myself that the Paralympic Games only started in the 1960s, and para rowing has only been in the Games since 2008. We have come a long way, but we have so much more to go. And the athletes that are on this call today are part of that legacy and are part of that change in creating a more accessible and inclusive world. Those that do make it into sports and eventually into the games have to overcome many hurdles to get there, but what about everyone else? Those that aren't training every day, 6 days a week like me. People with disabilities face many challenges when it comes to getting movement in their days, and there isn't a ton of research for each disability on what we should and shouldn't be doing. So this is why I work as a youth coordinator at the Studward, an Active Living Alliance, and now take on clients at Ocean Rehab and Fitness, which is the logo pictured here, to help other people build their why and find the confidence to move the way they want to move. I've also had the privilege of getting back into the mountains thanks to Bowhead and Kootenay Adaptive. This summer, I was competing in the first adaptive mountain bike series to ever happen and became the first female adaptive mountain biker to participate in that series. This photo here is of me racing down in Fernie, and the two other photos of me on the next slide are of the adaptive mountain bike where I'm sitting. 2 wheels are in the front and 1 wheel is in the back, and I'm strapped in at the chest, and my feet are also strapped in. And this bike is ran via a battery to help me maneuver and get around. So because of this, in the new year, I'll have the privilege of running a women's clinic in March with Kootenai Adaptive to help get more people who identify as a woman or a girl into the outdoors and into the mountains. This accomplishment is one I am most proud of thus far, as all of these opportunities have come up because I just decided to start. The passion I had for movement is finally being carried out in all aspects of my life, and it wouldn't have been possible without believing that there was a different way to move, a way to move that I would enjoy even with a disability. I also recognize the privilege I have in my abilities and know that movement will look different for different people, but that's okay. So for those that are listening, whether you are a person with a disability who needs to find their why or struggle with your why, a caretaker or a healthcare provider, someone who works with people with disabilities, whether you're a friend, a sibling, or a significant other, know that we are all finding our way. With less resources, less media representation, many barriers and inequalities, and the many challenges that come with the disability. But know that all it takes is to start, and wherever you are now, celebrate that. So what is my why, you ask? Well, this is my why. On this next slide, to live each day for her, the young 16-year-old Sierra, who is seen sitting on the ground here in the tall, dead grass beside her wheelchair, looking at it with a small smile, one of hesitation, to what this disability will bring into her life. Since this photo, every time I chose to grow, I grew, and I continue to do just that. Thank you. And if you want to follow along on my journey or have questions about para-rowing, adaptive mountain biking, or becoming more physically active, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Sierra Roth 22. Thanks.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Sierra. Let's just throw it out there right now. She is one badass. Thank you so much for that presentation and the key messages that we are just trying to find our why with less media representation, more challenges, less visibility. Love it. Thank you so much. And yeah, total badass. And I want to know how you got so many cool photos. You must roll around with like a professional photographer or something. But anyways, I'm going to move on to our next athlete, Morgan Bird. And I have to apologize because I keep pumping a Q&A, and I'm just so excited about that. So that's why that's been front of mind for me. My apologies, but up to this point, Morgan's life has been dedicated to competitive swimming and achieving a Bachelor of Child Studies degree, which she received in 2019. Morgan has been competitively swimming for 17 years, beginning her journey at the age of 11 years old. She was born with cerebral palsy, the condition affecting the left side of her body. She competed as a Paralympian at 3 Paralympic Games, London 2012, Rio de Janeiro 2016, and Tokyo 2020 in the S8 category. She just recently announced her retirement from competitive swimming, but not before capping off her career with a Paralympic bronze medal in Tokyo. She has had the opportunity to represent Canada, competing all over the world stage, racking up an impressive number of accomplishments and Canadian records, many she still holds to this day. So please join me in welcoming Morgan Bird.
Hi, everyone. I would like to thank you, first of all, for having me today. I'm very excited to be a part of IDPD with all of you. And in terms of introductions, my name is Morgan Bird. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a Paralympic swimmer, recently retired. I am a white female with brown hair and blue eyes. I am sitting against a blue wall and a window and wearing a Red Canada jacket. I have blue eyes with glasses that are black that are always falling down my face.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, Morgan. And it's a pleasure to have you here. So why don't we get into this Q&A, and I'll kick things off with, how did you discover disabled sports?
That's a great question. So my parents were actually very encouraging of me to become involved in any type of physical activity right at the get-go at a very young age. I tried all sports, and I actually have a couple personal experiences to share about that. For example, I started with skiing, and that didn't necessarily work out at first because I was more interested in sitting in the warm lounge with snacks. And again, my mom always actually dreamt of having a dancer daughter and a gymnast, and having cerebral palsy, you don't really have the greatest flexibility, speaking for myself anyways. That didn't work out either because I almost fell off the competition stage at 3 years old at my first competition. And then fast forward a little bit, when I was 11, I stumbled into swimming, and swimming provided an avenue for me to replace my physiotherapy exercises, which I absolutely hated. When I was younger, I would do absolutely anything to get out of my physiotherapy, and I dove into the pool and loved it. For myself, I joined a rookie camp, and my parents weren't necessarily sure at that age if swimming was right for me. I remember my mom would sit in the stands and watch me and be nervous because she didn't know if it was the right fit. She went up to the coach at the time and gave her an out and said, "Is swimming really right for my daughter?" She was expecting an answer to say that it wasn't right and maybe tried a different sport or something different. And she was bawling and ready to pull me out right away because I was frequently getting lapped and I was quite slow compared to the rest of my teammates. And she just wasn't ready to see if it was something that I could do. But the coach sat her down and said, "Listen, there is a place for her in my team. Leave her with us for a month. Don't come and watch. And after that month, I promise you she will be improved." And she sat her down and explained the Paralympic movement and the para sport and said, "She belongs here. Don't worry about it." And if it weren't for my parents allowing me to give swimming a chance, and for that coach that said, "I belong here," I would not be the accomplished swimmer that I am today.
Awesome. Well, just another great example of perseverance and believing in ability and not necessarily what's on the surface. Now, I mean, you've obviously been in the swimming game a lot and around sports for quite a bit of your life. How has sports helped you in areas outside of your like in your day-to-day life?
Another great question. So I believe that swimming has ultimately distilled in me a strong work ethic and a determined mindset. I believe in order to pursue an athletic career, you need both of those things. And that ultimately spills over into your everyday life. For example, the desire to get up at 5 a.m. to go to practice 3-4 times a week is not for everyone. And I know that it's hard to get up before the sun rises for a lot of people, but I was determined to go to every practice to make myself a better athlete and become a better version of myself. And in order to do that, I needed a strong support system to be able to drive me to and from practices at that hour because I couldn't get myself there. And I remember my dad he took the early morning drives, and he was always frustrated and groaning at the fact of getting up that early. And then when we got there, he realized that he wasn't the one getting out in order to jump into a cold pool to do another practice. He just could drive back home and sleep more. And for me, that it was those early mornings that I spent in the pool that I was able to work on skills that spill over into everyday life. And so in terms of where swimming has taken me as well, I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel the world, make lifelong friends, and it's all because I decided to pursue a sport and stick with it. And when I was younger, I had to rely on my family a lot, but swimming has also given me the confidence and the independence that I need outside of sport as well.
Awesome. So I want to take it back a little bit. Obviously, you started swimming at a very young age, competing at only 11 years old. What would you tell your younger self, knowing what you know now?
So another personal story that I have that goes with this question is that my first swim coach said to me, to my face, that I would one day make it to the Paralympics and be able to call myself a Paralympian. And I looked at her dead in the face when I was 11, and I told her that I thought she was crazy, and I shook my head and I laughed because I thought she was joking. And knowing what I know now, with my 17-year career coming to a close very recently, I would tell the younger 11-year-old version of myself to listen to that coach, and instead of focusing on the disability and the things that I can't do, to think of what could be instead. And a little fun fact is that she told me that if I ever made it to the Paralympics, that she would be in the stands to watch me. And she was actually there in person at London 2012, my first games. I've been to 3. So London 2012, Rio 2016, and most recently Tokyo 2020. And it was very humbling and a cool experience to have my supportive first ever coaches watching me in the stands that year.
Yeah, no, that's phenomenal. So just going off of that, we have a question in the chat real quick, since you highlighted on the different locations you've been in. What's your favorite Paralympic place that you went to out of those 3?
Out of those 3, that's a very difficult question to answer for myself because they're all amazing for different reasons. Like for London, I was brand new at this, a rookie. I was looking up to veterans like I am now. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't put any pressure on myself for experience, but I had so much fun. I was a young 18-year-old, and I was my eyes were opened up to a whole new experience in a whole new world. Rio was an amazing host city. I had my entire family in the stands. It was very special. And Tokyo holds a special place in my heart as well because I knew that it was probably going to be my last games, and now I know it is. And I hold special memories from that trip in my heart. I was part of the leadership committee for the athletes this year, and so that was a new role for me. And so again, many different reasons for why I loved all 3 of them, and I can't pick just one.
For sure. No, that's awesome. Thanks for answering that one. The theme this year, as you know, is moving from recreational to competitive sport. What are your top 3 tips or pieces of advice for anyone thinking about competing in your in their sport of choice. And I think you've already sort of touched on this, but we'll circle back one more time.
We'll circle back. Okay, that's great. So my first quick point here is that if you have a dream, it's important to not give up when things get tough. Continue to press in, lean into your support systems, work hard, because you never know where that's going to take you. Like for myself, I didn't know that joining swimming would take me to the places I've gone and the things I've gotten to do. And I'm glad that I pursued sport and swimming. My second and most important, in my opinion, piece of advice is to have fun with it. This is the most important because I think personally, if you're not enjoying your sport, it's very difficult to maintain it and go to those early morning practices, for example, because you're not going to want to get up if you don't think your sport is fun. So I always tell young aspiring athletes that come up to me and say, make sure you're having fun. And my third point is that the only disability in life is a bad attitude. And I always say that. And if you happen to have a disability, embrace it and don't let it get in the way of chasing your dreams.
Beautiful. Awesome. One last question. And it's one I have to ask because I think we're all wondering. As far as I'm concerned, you're as close as I will ever get to a Paralympian medal. So I'm gonna ask, what did it feel like to find out the 4x100 meter team won bronze after 2 teams were disqualified at the Tokyo Games?
Another great question. So for myself, I believe, speaking for all 3 of my teammates and myself, we were all in shock. We weren't expecting to be in that place. After the race, we all sat there staring at the official results because we couldn't believe that we were in that position. And we didn't want to move in case the results were false or the screen changed. And I believe that there were so many emotions flowing through that pool deck that day. And everyone was frozen to the spot. It was unbelievable for all athletes and coaches on deck. And it goes to show that anything can happen, for me especially, because I never thought I would be able to call myself a Paralympic bronze medalist. And it sure didn't happen like overnight with the snap of my fingers. It took 12 years on the national team and 17 years of training day in and day out, and practicing patience as well, and knowing that it's not all going to come easy. And I couldn't have asked for anything better, being a recent retiree. And I think, speaking for myself, I done all that I wanted to and all that I could in the pool, and being able to add a bronze medal to my name and doing it alongside of 3 of my best friends, that is all I could ask for myself in my career. And I am very proud of what I have accomplished over these past years in my sport.
Well, I mean, as a fellow person with a disability and a Canadian, you know, I'm personally really proud of you, and thank you for all that you've done in the pool, outside the pool, getting up at 5 a.m., going for practices, and of course for joining us today. Thank you for imparting your wisdom on us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to the rest of the presentations, and I have enjoyed the ones that have already happened so far.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Morgan, and we look forward to seeing what you do next.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I'm going to pass it over to our good friend Leslie Tansey, and we're going to keep things going here as she takes the proverbial mic and does a Q&A with our next guest.
Thank you, Zachary. I would like to introduce Vivienne Forrest. Vivienne is a Canadian sport hero who has never let the toughness of the journey hold her back. She has no excuses. Vivienne Forrest is one of Canada's most celebrated Paralympic athletes who, after a career as a national goalball player, transitioned to compete for Canada in alpine ski racing. At the Vancouver 2010 Paralympic Winter Games, Vivienne won medals in all 5 Paralympic ski races: bronze in giant slalom, silver in super G, slalom and super combined, and gold in the fastest race of all, the downhill. Combined with her 2 Paralympic gold medals in goalball from the Sydney 2000 and Athens 2004 Paralympic Summer Games, Vivienne is the first Canadian female to win gold at both Summer and Winter Games, Paralympian or Olympian. She has 7 medals in total, in addition to the World Cup, Crystal Globe, and World Championship titles. And I believe, Vivienne, I'm trying to think of the year, I think it was 2011 that you actually attended IDPD out at Clairview Rec Center.
I believe so.
With your medals, yes. So wow, talk about like 10 years later. You're looking great. Anyways, so welcome, Vivienne.
Thank you so much, Leslie.
Give a bit of a description of yourself, and then I will ask you some questions.
Thank you. I'm Vivienne. I'm a very petite little blonde, and I wear blue glasses. They're fairly new because I'm aging as well, and I guess my eyesight is like everyone else is getting a little worse. And I wear purple and gray top and blouse. Yeah. And I identify myself as a girl, as a she. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Vivienne, and welcome. Really glad to have you back. So how did you discover disabled sports?
I discovered disabled sport when I was a teenager. I did struggle a lot at school, so I did have to go to a special school for blind people and vision impaired. And it's there that they introduced me to the Paralympic movement and all the sport that it's include. And I was already fascinated with the Olympic. So when they introduced me to the Paralympic, I was like, oh my goodness, I really find like my niche and my goal, because I was quite disappointed. I thought my dream was to be an athlete all my life. So when I went to that blind school and my vision was getting worse, and I was like, I thought my dream will never come true to be an athlete and represent Canada. So it was amazing discovery for me to find that we have that option as disabled people, and we could compete, and we could have to go like to the full potential of ourselves and develop as much as we wish, with the right people in the sports system to support us.
Wow, that was amazing. You always wanted to be an athlete, and look where you are now. And how old were you when this light bulb kind of went out, like, oh?
I fall in love like with sports and the Olympic. I was probably 4 years old. I was watching with my grandparents, and I don't know why, like I just see those athletes, and it was probably Los Angeles game at that time. And I was like, just like I said, this is what I want to do. And of course, you know, they all like, yeah, but you're blind, type-ish in their head. And they let me kind of grow up, but still be very involved in sport. So when I went to the school, Jacques Ouellet, who's, like I said, it's a blind school, and they really start to introduce me to all the Paralympic movement and the sports of goalball and the sport association in Quebec for the blind people. And it's where it really started there, and I started develop. But I compete in the sport of goalball, as Kerry explained earlier, so I'm not gonna go back to re-elaborate about the sport, but it's one of the sport like I was absolutely not talented at it first, because you're totally blindfolded. And as weird as it could sound, I'm a very visual learner. I'm a very visual person. So to be totally in the dark, it was very,
very difficult for me to focus because I already have a deficit attention at that time. So to be totally blindfolded and my head was even worse for me. So it did take me so much training, and I did have like amazing coach that keep telling me to just focus on one ball at the time. And this is something that helped me like over a year or two of training goalball. I was able to bring this attention and bring it in class. And I was start very slowly. First, I was listening maybe to the teacher a minute at the time, and after that, 5 minutes at the time. But at the end of the years, my grade improved by around 10% on every class I was, just because I was able to pay attention a little more in school. And it's a skill that I still use today, because for me, it's very easy to not pay attention and disconnect.
Awesome. Wow, that's great. And I'm very much a visual learner as well too, so I can't even imagine. So good on you. And how has sports helped you in areas outside of sports?
Like I say, like to focus, sport brings so much to people. I mean, you have to learn well as a young person, like all the rules, and to play fair and the camaraderie. And after that, like you have like the authority, like the referee and the coaches. So it's something that is very, very great value for a young person to grow up with. But it also like really helped me like to learn different language, to be more open on different situation and religion, because people came from everywhere in the world. We all have that same goal in common. We love sports. And this is why I love sports so much, because in the Paralympic movements, because we go there and we all have different background of, let's say, skin color, religion, ethnicity, but we all go there and it's peaceful, and we all have that same passion, and people help each other. And it's amazing to see how the barrier are coming down. The progress that it have too for women in sport is very, it very came from far away. I see now we have female athlete from Iraq, Pakistan, like so many countries that we didn't used to see before. So it's great to see like they have a very human and compassion way in sport as well.
Oh, great. Thank you for that. Kind of went through this, I think, but as the first Canadian female athlete to win gold at both the Summer and Winter Games, what motivates you to continue to try new things and to keep pushing yourself? And I think you kind of mentioned a bit of that earlier.
I always strive to be a better person than I was yesterday. So even now I retired and I just start painting. And as a visual impaired person, I mean, visual art is kind of maybe counterintuitive, but it's amazing that could come out of and the potential that could be hidden in people. I also play music. You got so many other passion than sport that we have to came around. And I mean, life is there for me. Is I really enjoy learning, and I think it's why being an athlete was really applying for me, because you learn and you improve every day. And I really like the critic as well. Some people don't like feedback. I take every feedback with a grain of salt. It's like everybody have their perspective on a subject, and you take what make you a better person at the end of the day or not, right? So what resonate with you? So I think if like I always tell my coach, if you think you know it all and you're the best, it's time to retire, because someone will beat you very soon.
Did you ever have any of them retire when you said that? No.
No, but sometimes they think about it, right? But it always have an underdog or a younger athlete that will come out from nowhere and be stronger. So you cannot sit. So it's not because you make the national team that you're there. Actually, you start. That's the beginning. Yeah. When you make a national team, then you have to really work again harder and harder and go back to the basic. And that's where every athlete or say, oh, it's not for me, but no, it's really, it's the basic that make like the little detail and refine her skill.
Right. Great. Thank you. So in skiing, you have to work with a guide, and you've had a few in your career. What is it like to build that relationship and to put that level of trust in someone else?
It's a bit like a forced marriage. So you need to find an athlete that is able to ski way faster than myself and have to be a better and stronger skier than me, because they have to keep a good line and also look behind their shoulder to make sure that I'm still following them and that I'm safe. So it's extremely challenging. So it's difficult for them, and they put also their life in jeopardy. So we're both, it's a codependency, right? They need me, I need them to compete.
Right.
And Canada, the guide, when you guide someone who's vision impaired, have the same privilege as an athlete. So you got the carding system, you got the coaching supports, psychologists, nutritionists, name it. You also have the doping system, and you also have to follow the rules as any other athlete, and they got the medals as well. So it's very like, you need to build the trust, and it takes time. And it's why like we practice for so long. People think we travel the world and it's like holiday, but no. We train way much more than we'll compete. And when we train, it's way harder and harsher. So we try to compete and train in any kind of situation, that it's a blizzard -20, that it's pouring rain, we're still out there, because you never know when you compete, which kind of condition you're gonna face.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and to build that trust, it's something that came a little bit at the time, and it's also, you build very deep connection with those people. You know, it's like you share a very high adrenaline, amazing, euphoric moment when you're on the podium. It's like the rush. It's wow. But also when you have a heart fail and people get hurt, it's also, you know, so you have to cope with all of those situations. So.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Thank you. The theme is moving from recreational to competitive sport. What are your top 3 tips or advice for anyone thinking about competing in their sport of choice?
Oh, don't hesitate to put the time and the hard work. You're gonna be sore. Like, I mean, if you think about being an athlete, it's like usually we're sore everywhere most of the time. But it's also like the good drugs that happen in your brain and all that dopamine and everything else. So you kind of get addicted to that. So it's a great balance to find. You need to put a lot of time. And sometimes even if you put all the hard work, sometimes life is just unfair, right? Maybe you're too petite, too tiny. Maybe you're not gonna make the cut. Sometimes I see some athlete that work the hardest and they don't make it. And you have someone else who's extremely talented on the other hand, and didn't have to work too hard, and they got it fairly easy. Usually when they make to national team, though, it's where it starts to be tough for them because they are not used to train as hard, and usually they don't get as far. But yeah, it's a difficult, I mean, go as hard as you can. And I think it's the journey, not so much if you make it or not. If you make it, good for you. But sometimes it's just, you know, to make it to a provincial level could be a huge accomplishment as well. So, and to just get out and being in the gym or in the pool could be amazing as well. So step by step, depending where you are. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Now, finally, and I think we have a question in the chat room, and I'll ask that after this one. But finally, you retired from both of your sports, mostly related to injuries, and you're a registered massage therapist. What do you do then and now to care for yourself physically and mentally?
It's a everyday, like I still do exercise. So I really like to row. I retired because I got too many concussion, and I still struggle with my health because of the concussion today. So, yeah, I try to, for me, it's very important to try to stay grounded and to go back to the basic. So I try to pray and meditate every day. I also keep healthy. Like I go for a walk with my little dog. I like to keep doing exercise. I play guitar. I try to learn the piano a little bit. And now my new hobby is painting. So I try to touch a bit everything, and I still surround myself with friends. I try to socialize a little bit during that pandemic. Of course, is not an easy thing to do, but
Right.
you know, we still could go for a walk and have some distancing. And it's
Correct.
for me, it's very important to be outside. So.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to read this one. Thank you for that. And Misty asks, Vivian, what challenges had you had while doing your sports? I think you kind of answered that in a lot of the questions, but anything else?
So many challenge. I mean, even like we don't realize sometimes not even in the sport, but it's just like outside the sport. For me, like to find to walk in a different country and to find the hotel room, or to find back the washroom, or find where's my team when the space is so big. It was extremely stressful and complex. So it's all those little things that we don't necessarily think that happen, but it's not just in the sport. It's, you know, from the gate to gate, it's pretty safe. It's control environment. In the pool, it's control environments. Often it's to get to the pool. Does he have steps to get to the pool? If you're a wheelchair user, does he have a ramp? For us, it's like, where's the door?
Yeah.
Often it's very, it sounds like very simple to people, but what is that 20 meters for someone who's vision impaired could be extremely challenging to find. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to add that we didn't quite ask, that is burning in your hearts?
Well, I would like to thank you guys to have me today again. And like you say, it was a bit of a while, 10 years or 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say what I did enjoy or find it was interesting with downhill skiing in Alpine Canada is it was the mix of disability. So we were competing and with athletes, and my teammates, some of them were a wheelchair user or have amputation and a spina bifida. So that was also interesting to see how I could help someone to carry them on my back, and they could show me and point me and help me to see where to go. So how we could help each other. Yeah. And we're all disabled, and it's amazing. And that's the beautiful of being human, right?
That's great. Thanks so much, Vivian, for joining us too. It's great to see you again. I know I've seen you in between, but not for IDPD, I don't think. So I'm going to turn it over to Zachary now, and he can introduce this wonderful young woman from the US of A. Thanks, Zachary.
We're going cross-border, and thank you, Vivian, for joining us on this special day. And I just want to take a moment to also acknowledge the great work that's being done behind the scenes with our ASL interpreter Valerie, and then of course the CART captioning for you guys provided by Joanne. So thank you for your hard work. You're both getting a workout today. Seems fitting given our theme, but just wanted to throw that out there and show my appreciation. So next up, we are sort of changing dynamics here in that our next guest isn't necessarily an athlete, but she's doing tremendous work from a different level in a different area to forward the game of hockey, and more so really be an example of what people with disabilities can achieve given the opportunity. I want to welcome my new friend from the Seattle Kraken, Chanel Keenan, to the stage, who's joining us from Boston. Chanel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. How are you?
Good. maybe we'll just start with a quick visual description of you, and then we'll get into the Q&A. And I'm sure if there's a few questions from the audience, we can maybe answer those as well.
Yeah, my name is Chanel. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm an Asian Cambodian American person who's femme-facing, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And yeah, I've blurred my background because I'm in my room and it's very messy. And I'm wearing a white t-shirt and have dark lipstick and a little bit of eye makeup going on. So.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. I mean, this is a first of its kind sort of position. Why don't you state your position, and maybe we can go from there, and your role with the Seattle Kraken. And then I have a few questions for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I work through the Seattle Kraken as their intersectionality consultant, and I kind of work with all departments of the organization on how we can be more inclusive to people with disabilities, to people without disabilities, from ticketing to how our arena operates, food and beverage, all the way to our practice facility where we have a lot of community events. And really just kind of build a better and stronger community around people with disabilities. And tonight we have, we're celebrating the International Day of People with Disabilities. So we have a couple spotlight things going on at the game tonight. I wish I could be there to see it all come together, but I'm putting the trust and faith into my colleague who really got that stuff going tonight.
Awesome. Well, that's very exciting to hear. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard any sort of recognition being done for IDPD at an NHL level. So that explains really well what you're doing with the Kraken, and hopefully that can radiate into other professional teams, not just in the NHL, but abroad. So why don't we take it back a little bit, and I want to know, how did you get involved with hockey?
Yeah, so I am the youngest of a family of boys, and so all my brothers grew up playing sports during all 4 seasons, and I was subsequently dragged to all those sporting events and practices and everything else, which made me kind of resent sports for a really long time growing up. So I really didn't have a huge personal interest in them, but I think over time and maybe even subliminally, I was getting, that exposure to what that looked like, and kind of enjoyed, my own little team I was creating outside of those events, because I'd end up hanging out with all the younger siblings of all the, I guess, like kid athletes at the time. So I think really enjoying that sort of camaraderie aspect of it was why I initially liked it. And then I kind of got into it on a more fan level when I was in middle school and high school.
Cool. So I guess you were being groomed for your position before you even knew it. I'm curious, any 5 a.m. wake up calls for practice that you had to attend with your brother, or?
Yeah, all the tournaments we had to go to too growing up, those were really prevalent. There was just always something going on, I feel like, but it was keeping them out of trouble. So that's really what it was for.
For sure. So, I mean, you have a disability yourself. And sorry, what's your disability?
Yeah, so I have something called osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a connective tissue disorder. Mainly just means I have really brittle bones, so I'm really short. I use a power wheelchair most of the time to get around, and I'm on one of there's a bunch of different levels and versions of it now, but I'm on one of the more severe cases of it. But I've been generally really lucky in my health.
For sure. Well, that's certainly a win right there, so to speak. I know I'm grateful for my health as well. So I think we all are, given the current situation we've all been faced with around the globe. So I mean, you have a disability, you're involved in NHL. Have you ever played disabled sports like sledge hockey or anything like that?
Aside from my adaptive PE or physical education class growing up, no, I think it had to do with a lot of my own personal understanding of my body and how it feels being safe. I mean, I worked in sports a really long time and I volunteered for my women's basketball team in high school and our football department. And even that was a little bit dangerous for me at times. So not having a real personal interest in playing the game, I've never played, but I've always loved watching adaptive sports and just sports in general.
Do you tune into the Paralympics at all? The summer, the winter?
Yeah, I really love watching sledge hockey. I think it's probably more intense than the standard hockey that we know. And I feel like if you asked professional hockey players that who aren't disabled, like they would agree. I always love watching them try sledge hockey. I've seen a couple times where we've been able to pull that off, and it's a completely different game. So it's really cool.
Yeah, no, my last I played sledge hockey for a time, a very short time, very short career, unlike everybody else on this webinar, 2 years. And I always equate myself to Goldberg of sledge hockey, but Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks, if anyone's ever watched that. But yeah, I know this next question is something that I asked myself when I first saw you on TV. I mean, it was probably at the draft, and I heard prior rumblings that, there's a Chanel Keenan that's coming up with the Seattle Kraken as like. And anyone who knows me on this call knows that I'm a huge hockey fan. Oilers season seat holder, very fortunate that way. But I was like, how the heck did she land that role with the Kraken? So how did you land that role?
If we really boil it down, I earned the role because of the pandemic that we're in and how we all kind of switched to being more online instead of in person. And with that just comes a whole different attention to detail all across the board. And for Seattle, I feel like we're really progressive and really forthcoming with our shortcomings as a society and focusing on, what can we do to change and be better in the future. And I got my job during the summer of 2020 when there was a lot of human rights discussions going on. And as someone who wanted to participate in a lot of those events and couldn't for obvious and many reasons, I wrote a couple pieces about why I wanted to get involved with hockey and how I wanted to change hockey culture from being a very, cis white male sport, and really make it the reflection of us as, North America and Canada, all those things, and really make it as diverse as it should be. Because I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by not, embracing sort of all of our diverse qualities. So I kind of took my frustration and turned it into words at the time, and it got passed around a couple of times. I volunteer now for Black Girl Hockey Club, and they were the ones that shared my work, which ended up in the hands of my boss at the time, or now. And that was really such a wonderful and unheard of experience for me, because it's really hard to get a traditional job, and I wanted to be able to work in hockey in some way. I thought it'd be more traditional, like maybe in marketing or communication, which is what I went to school for. But instead, it's kind of mirroring two parts of my life that are really super important to me, which is, sort of having this escape of hockey and watching sports and stuff like that, and how myself as a fan kind of feels really left out of that experience. So basically, I got my job through Twitter, and I'm really appreciative of that site for that one thing.
Well, it's a Twitter world nowadays, and that's how you and I met. And so, yeah, I mean, so you mentioned your role as intersectionality consultant. What are you hoping to accomplish with the team? I mean, obviously you made some headway already. I mean, just tonight we're celebrating, IDPD at the Kraken game, albeit I must say you're facing the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm gonna bring that back later. But yeah, what do you hope to accomplish with the team? And then we have another question from the chat that'll sort of feed in to this as well.
Well, I was just going to say I can kind of answer their question in regards to my work. And one of the biggest things about my job is sharing my experience, and I wouldn't have given myself as a resource to them if I didn't have the experience of going to a lot of professional hockey games growing up and sort of in the latter half of my teens. So I kind of was always taking notes of the venue, and the only one I really have to reference is Boston TD Garden, and always taking notes of like how does it work from going into the arena to out of the arena, and what is that entire experience like. And it's really never been too seamless for me growing up. It's always been a little bit different every time I go. And with that, I sort of took those mental notes that I made and took it to the Kraken and was like, these are some of the things that I've experienced, and that I hope that we can implement some things to make it easier. And to the point of sort of seating and things of that nature, one of the things that I helped implement was an in-seating concierge service for food. One of the things I talked to Zachary about is how, typically when I go to a game, if I'm feeling like spending a lot of money, which isn't a lot, I will have, whoever's with me usually, because I don't go to these events alone typically. I'll have them go and get like, chicken fingers or whatever. And I'll stay in my seat because it doesn't quite make sense for me to do that and to risk dropping, $18 worth of food on the floor, which is both so many of an issue in itself, but I'm not going to, go out of my way to do that. So what I asked our team to do, not really, like our team, but like the people who are in charge of these things, was to be like, is there a way that we can provide, this type of service in the accessible seating areas, to where that this isn't a problem, and that you can use your phone or use a device that we have available to people to order what they want, so they don't have to travel and bring it back and have that whole experience, because our arena is pretty big to navigate in itself. And so knowing that and keeping that in mind, I was really hopeful that we could pull something like that off. And luckily, while I was out there in October, I was able to trial that out, and I was really, really happy with how it went. So stuff along those lines are really important to me, and that I've been having tangible results from. And then other stuff is more on the DE&I, or the diversity, equity, inclusion side, where I'm talking to my colleagues about how we can be responsive and respectful of everybody, and how we can do that from the inside and present that on the outside as well.
Awesome. So yeah, it seems like you're covering all the bases in terms of fan experience and making sure that people with disabilities are getting the same level of game day experience as a able-bodied fan. We'll finish with one more question, and it's one of the big ones I think we'd all like to know, is what's it like knowing you're the first person in your position in the NHL?
It's both really scary and really exciting. I think I can, look at it whatever way I want to. I can be afraid of, messing it up the first time, but with every mess up is a learning curve, something to learn from it. So I take a lot of what I've been able to achieve and sort of set that the bar is at a certain place and I need to keep reaching higher and higher. And I think that for me, the longest that I waited to try and get into the industry was because I didn't see myself represented in the sport in this specific way. I know I'm not the only disabled person working for the NHL, but because, either those people didn't want to be front facing or we just don't talk about it the same way or whatever, I just really didn't think it was a possibility. So if I can be that, image or that idea for someone else who's younger than me, or even someone who's older than me, like even for you, like knowing that there's someone out there trying to do things to benefit, nothing I do is really to benefit me, especially in a realistic case of I'm all the way in Boston and this stuff isn't happening here. So it really is, not for my benefit. It's for the benefit of our culture changing in hockey, and also just sort of hoping that other leagues and other venues sort of take note of what we're doing and learn from it, and even try to outdo us. I would love for that to happen. But it's always scary being the first, and I think I have a lot of other intersectional things that make that even scarier as being a woman and a woman of color. But I really try to embrace those differences and those challenges, and that's sort of what motivates me to keep going.
For sure. Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, I just want to thank you for everything you've done in terms of forwarding the game and including our community, women of color, women in general. So much more that we have to accomplish. I'm streaming live from Edmonton, as is most of our guests, and we've been really blessed to be able to be exposed to, as you mentioned, people with disabilities working in the NHL with Joey Moss here, who's passed away, unfortunately, but he's been a pinnacle in our community for a long time. And my last question is, Oilers versus Seattle tonight. Are the Oilers going to beat Seattle?
I would either say it's going to be a close game or that you guys will probably win. We're missing a few key guys right now, so I'm not going to pretend. Like anybody can look at the roster right now. I know that something's going on, so there's a really good chance that you guys beat us tonight.
We're pretty banged up as well, so
it would be an even game then. It'll be great.
Well, somebody has to win. That's my competitive side. But anyways, thank you so much, Chanel. And we'll drop your social media accounts in the chat so people continue to follow you and your great work and continue to expand the game. I'm going to turn it back to Sam to finish off the event and make sure that we are finishing on time.
Thank you. We're going to try. So it's about a 15-minute video, so we understand if people have to go. It is on YouTube, though, and it is an incredible interview with our first ever advocate, Tony Flores. So I will just start that now because I say all of this in the video. And thank you all for joining us today, and stay tuned for the prize winner and all of the good things, all of our follow-up.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for coming to Edmonton IDPD 2021. I am sitting here with Tony Flores, who was the first ever advocate in Alberta for persons with disabilities and a celebrated athlete and competitor.
Well, thank you. Welcome to my home. Thank you for including me to this special event, the 2021 IDPD in Edmonton, and yeah, it's I was the first disability advocate for persons with disability in Alberta. It was quite a privilege and really a humbling experience serving the disability community. Yeah, thank you.
Again, thank you, Tony. Do you mind telling us where you grew up and what your family life was like in the earlier years before we all knew you?
Yeah, I was born and raised in the Philippines, really a small town in the Philippines. I'm number eighth of 9 children. What is it, 5 boys and 4 girls. Yeah, I had polio when I was 1 year old, which impacted my right leg. I use crutches, and also I'm a wheelchair user now. As I age, I depend more and more on my wheelchair. Yeah, I immigrated in this country about 38 years ago, in 1984, with my mom and dad and the rest of my siblings. I really, every day when I wake up in the morning, I'm really quite thankful to live in this country, because, you know, I could not really imagine myself living in the Philippines with a disability. You know, like, you know, I love this small house I have. I live independently. You know, I have my own career. You know, I was able to pursue sports. The fact that, you know, the theme of this IDPD this year is on sports. So I was able to do, you know, pursue sports that I truly enjoyed. So always thankful being part of this community in Alberta and this country. So, yeah.
You've touched on this already a little bit, but the theme of Edmonton IDPD 2021 is the road to the podium, moving from recreational sport to competitive sport. What sports did you compete in, and at what level?
Yeah, I started wheelchair racing, you know, here in Edmonton, actually just through local clubs here, through University of Alberta. Yeah, I competed locally and internationally, and then after wheelchair racing, I moved on to cross country skiing, sit skiing actually. On a sled, and also competed in locally and international level, World Cups, World Championships. And then my last sport, paracanoe, or you know, sprint kayaking for people with disabilities. I was a sprinter, 200 meters, single men, and I was a national champion, I believe, in 2009. And I was a member of the national team and competed in World Championships. Yeah, not a podium guy. It's very difficult to be a podium guy, but it was such a privilege to be representing Canada in this high-level competition. So yeah, I retired in 2013 after my parents passed away. I just couldn't somehow. Maybe it was age 2. So, but somehow after my parents passed away, I just couldn't keep up with the demands of performing at a high performance level. So, but it's okay. Life moves on.
Thank you so much for that. What accomplishment would you say you're the most proud of to date? And it definitely doesn't have to be at a competitive sport level. It can be about anything else.
Yeah, well, you know, that's a hard question. Interesting, you know, life, I don't know, reflecting on life, I think things just unfold upon us, and I think it's important that we just embrace it, whether or not it's a, you know, I think everything is a blessing, whether it's a challenge or, you know, something good. Or great things, but I think it's how you look at things. I think, having said that, one thing that opened up upon or laid upon me was really becoming the first disability advocate in Alberta and really setting the tone as the first disability advocate in terms of I've worked for the government as a frontline employee for 17 years before being a disability advocate, and there's a great people at the government, but people are jaded and really overworked. And what I want to set a tone when I became a disability advocate is to really raise the standard of service for people with disabilities. So I think setting that tone, I hope that will carry on beyond my term. So in a way that's somewhat I'm quite proud of. So we've created a culture now in the office that customer service is paramount. So this once in a while I create my own music. I'm not a great pianist at all. I'm not a classical pianist, so I was really not a great pianist at all. So, but I enjoy music, so I said, okay, I'm not a great classical pianist, so I'll just create my own. My style of music is really minimalist. It's really mellow. It's not a concert big bang music. It's more of a reflective music. The first one I composed, I've titled it really Celebration. It was really inspired when I used to be competitive, when I used to do wheelchair marathon. And it's sort of a day in the life of a wheelchair marathoner. As you can see later on or hear later on when I play it, is that the first part of that music is sort of when you wake up in the morning and the sun shines through your window. When you wake up in the morning, you can feel the sunshine in your face. Part of that music also, you can feel the challenges of a marathon. You can feel the pains of that marathon, the uphills and the downhill, and at the end of that marathon, you can feel the sort of the relief, that the race is over. So, but I thought it was a beautiful title to say. I think with these great opportunities I have had in this country, to call it Celebration. So I usually cross my legs, but because I don't have control of this, so I put weight. You know why I do this? Because I put weight. You know why? You know what I mean? Then I can anchor to put pedal on.
Right.
If that makes sense. So this is probably would be better. Another piece that I'd like to play two pieces for you folks. Another composition of mine, again, it's somewhat really reflective of again my blessings in this country, but it's very simple music, but it's really titled, I titled it Unfinished, because you know, in life I think we're always excited for the unknown. We're always looking forward we always look forward for the undiscovered, right? So that's why I titled it Unfinished. So, yeah. It's Unfinished.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of our event today and letting us into your home and to record your beautiful melodies, and we couldn't thank you enough. Okay, thank you all again for joining us. I see that we still have quite a few people here, so if you're interested, I can quickly pull this winner out. Oopsie. I'll just stop sharing my screen really quickly. And Calgary's event is happening right now, so I'm sure many of you are on your way over there. But in the meantime, I'll pick this. And okay. Uh-oh, I don't know how to do it.
Uh-oh.
Okay, maybe I'll do it after this. Oh, here it is, the start button. Okay, well, that's one of our staff members, so that doesn't count. One more time.
Enough.
Okay.
Just to remind people, the prize is a Google Home with some smart lights, some smart adaptations. Turn on the lights to make your home a bit more accessible or just more smart.
So I have a winner, and they're actually still here. And I don't want to say, I don't know if you want me to say your last name, but it's Jamie W. So congratulations. And I see that you're still here.
Awesome.
And I'll be in touch with you to get that to you. So thank you all again. Happy IDPD.
Yes, happy IDPD, and thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.